Today's episode is brought to you by the Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. Find out more at canbyfoursquare.com or on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11 a.m.
This tax exemption eludes me like a gazelle eludes an arthritic cat.
Why can't Canby people keep track of their dogs? Like, what is...
To do that, you can't be stupid with guns.
Yeah. So the board is saying they want to make Canby schools great again.
It feels like we've been doing this interview for years.
Inside of me was screaming.
You run for school board, you win or you die.
There's no second place. Welcome to the Canby Now podcast.
We are the best and easiest way to stay connected to what's happening in your hometown. I'm Tyler Francke.
I'm Joyce Struby.
And I'm Tyler Clawson.
The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office confirmed that a Canby Grove outdoor school employee died of drug-related causes on October 23rd. The Sheriff's Office says 30-year-old Cameron Kent Faltersock, a program coordinator for the outdoor school, died of a drug overdose at the Canby Grove Conference Center. Faltersock, a Lake Oswego resident, who is also known by his work nickname, Tumbleweed, had been an outdoor school employee since September 11. The Sheriff's Office said they determined no children attending the school function were exposed to the scene or the substances involved. In a letter to parents last week, outdoor school coordinator Jennifer Basham said Cameron was a valuable outdoor school employee and he will be missed. Times like these are a good reminder of the importance of connection and looking after one another. Please join us in keeping this young man and his family in your thoughts during this difficult time, and take care of yourselves and your students. The outdoor school is operated by the Multnomah Education Services District, is one of the longest running and most successful environmental education programs in the nation. Outdoor School operates multiple sites during the fall and spring of each school year. The district has been using Canby Grove Christian Center property as one of its sites since 1968. On Tuesday, the Oregon Department of Corrections confirmed that Faltersack was convicted of possession of methamphetamine in December 2014 and was sentenced to 18 months probation. According to DOC, he served the sentence under Clackamas County jurisdiction and was released from probation July 3, 2016. Spokeswoman Laura Conroy said the district conducts fingerprint-based background checks on all of its applicants for employment through the Oregon Department of Education. This is standard practice for school districts and education service districts. She said Faltersack was cleared through ODE. Conroy also said the district appreciates the many emails, letters, and calls of support they have received from the community, especially for Faltersack's family, who are experiencing a very public response to what is usually a private and tragic loss for family. This is a heartbreaking situation, an example of the impact the drugs are having in our neighborhood and communities, Conroy said. Cameron was a valued member of the outdoor school program. This is an extremely difficult time for his coworkers. She said the district will work closely with law enforcement as they continue their investigation into the circumstances leading to Faltersack's death. More retail is coming to downtown as the brand new store, Canby Gifts and Toys, prepares to open at the Dahlia building. The store is the brainchild of Mary Hanlon, principal of Hanlon Development. Hanlon Development built the Dahlia and is leading the redevelopment of the Canby Civic Block, along with her daughter, Maya Kinley Hanlon, and others. The fun and creativity at the heart of Canby Gifts hits you as soon as you walk through the front door. Handmade pottery lined shelves next to jars of marshmallow fluff. A rustic wood cabinet overflows with handmade baby blankets and cards. A rustic wheelbarrow, filled with one-of-a-kind birdhouses and garden tools, brushes shoulders with a vintage aeroplane riding toy. The store offers a diverse mix of locally handcrafted wares, antiques, fair trade imports, and other rare finds that are unique to the Canby area. Maya Kinley Hanlon, who handles social media and purchasing for the new store, said much of her inspiration draws from childhood shopping trips with her mom and their desire to recreate the fun and thrill of discovery.
Yeah, well, my mom and I have always really liked kind of going shopping around gift stores and antique stores. That's a very fond memory of mine from growing up with her was when we were traveling, or if we were ever in a city we'd not been in before, we'd always stop into the local antique store and the local gift shop in town. And
that's so funny. I have those memories too, but they're my least favorite childhood memories. So,
well, I guess I was lucky. Yeah, so it was always a really fun thing for us to be able to do together.
In broad strokes, it markets in gifts, toys for children and pets, home decor and furnishings, books, and games. There are also yummy things to eat, including from the Canby-based gourmet chocolatier Pudding River Chocolates. But even these are more aimed at prospective gift buyers. In other words, this is not exactly where you'd be headed with your weekly grocery list. Kinley Hanlon says they're trying to fill a need for Canby.
So when we were thinking about this, we kind of just were thinking about what are common kind of things that people want in a gift store that's local. So especially for Canby, where there's a lot of families, we knew we wanted to have things that would be good for kids and families, and kind of hit that market. That was a priority. And then in addition to that, kind of, we know pets are, to a lot of people, pets are family as well. So you want to have things that people want for their pets. So we knew pets would be another kind of market we wanted to look into.
The Dahlia continues to attract new restaurants and eateries. Not only Wayward Sandwiches, which just opened last month, but also a couple more that are currently under development. Mary Hanlon shared that the role played by Canby Gifts will be to provide an active space for residents and visitors. Basically, give people something new to do downtown.
The whole objective of the Civic Block is to activate the space. And so the challenge with new construction is timing. You've got a building and you've got to fill it. And, the right tenant may or may not be there right when you need to fill it. And so luckily this retail space is filling up fast. But so we're fortunate to have restaurants coming into the first floor.
Wayward Sandwiches.
Yeah, Wayward's open. And we've got a couple other lined up that we're working with. And then we also want to have some active uses that people can come down and not just eat, but come to really interesting places that they can spend time with their family members of all ages. And so a gift store, as you mentioned, when Parsons closed, the gift store kind of was gone from downtown, and toy stores are wonderful, and there's a lot of young families in Canby, and so we wanted to make sure that we're addressing the needs of that population as well.
An opening date has not been set, though it could be any day now. The store is ready and is just waiting for final inspection and green light from Clackamas County. For more information, check them out on Facebook or at canbygifts.com. And be sure to check out our full interviews with Maya and Mary in Thursday's episode. Four more arrests were made last week as Canby police continued their investigation into a physical altercation between at least 6 teenage boys and one Baker Prairie 7th grader outside Canby High School during a football game on October 25th. The victim suffered multiple contusions and a concussion. He was transported to the Providence Willamette Falls Medical Center for evaluation and treatment. His mother said he had difficulty remembering his address and phone number, and later experienced fainting and vomiting. 2 minors were taken into custody that night. Canby Police Chief Brett Smith said the additional arrests were made in the days that followed as detectives conducted interviews with witnesses, parents, district staff, and those involved. That brings the total to 6 juveniles arrested so far, and there could be more to come. Chief Smith said the victim himself could face charges for his role in an earlier incident, which apparently helped instigate the retaliation that happened in the night of the football game. Whether or not he or any others are charged will ultimately be up to the Clackamas County District Attorney and Clackamas County Juvenile Department. The silver lining, if there is one, is that this appears to have been an isolated incident.
Well, we haven't been able to verify any potential threat to the school or anybody else or retaliatory behavior. There's no weapons involved. There's been no other threats of violence. It really appears to be an incident where 7th grade arguments over stuff that ended up in a fight. And then there was an incident prior to the big incident. And then everyone kind of ended up bumping into each other or meeting each other again. This other fight started, and it ended up being like 4 or 5-on-1 type of a deal that everybody heard about.
Chief Smith also praised the cooperation that has come from both the school district as well as the families of those involved.
We've had great opportunity to work collaboratively with the school. They've been very cooperative and helpful in our investigation, as well as our follow-up with some of the minors involved, the families, the parents, have been helpful in trying to understand both what happened and their kids' roles, and been cooperative to assist the police as much as possible to try to come up with a good resolution and outcome here.
Chief Smith says his department is taking the matter very seriously and will conduct a thorough and complete investigation. Canby, you did it again. Hundreds of people packed into the Antonia Ballroom above the Backstop Bar and Grill Saturday night to support Cornhole for Cancer. The event was a fundraiser for the Canby High junior, Ellie Shorter, who is varsity soccer captain and cheerleader and was recently diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Almost 50 two-person teams registered for the tournament, which also featured a silent auction. The auction had 2 big-ticket items, being a dozen or so sets of cornhole boards that were designed and donated by local businesses. A University of Oregon set alone went over for $3,000. Go Ducks. One of the organizers, Ryan Oliver, reported that, all told, the event raised an estimated $30,000 for the Shorter family. Go Canby. I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not surprised, Oliver said when asked about the amazing turnout and generosity. This is just kind of how Canby rolls, Oliver shared. Donations were tax deductible through the support of a local nonprofit. Ryan Oliver said he had been friends with Ellie's dad, Shane, since childhood. When he heard about her diagnosis, he wanted to do whatever he could to help. Obviously, the same was true of, well, pretty much everyone else in Canby. Support for Shorters has come from the sales of hundreds of #EllieStrong t-shirts, sweatshirts, and stickers, a GoFundMe campaign that raised over $15,000, a hugely successful soccer clinic for local girls that was held last month at Canby High, the upcoming Taste of the Season food and beverage show at Cutsforth on November 7th, among others. This is what we're used to here in Canby, Oliver said. It's how we grew up. It's what our parents used to do. We just want to pay it forward. For pictures from the event, find this story on our website at CanbyNowPod.com. It's been a crazy week for Canby athletics, as the postseason is now in full swing. One of the biggest stories came Saturday night in Salem, as Canby volleyball pulled off the huge upset over 6th-ranked Sprague to advance to their first state quarterfinals in a decade. The Cougs had previously swept Grant High School in 3 straight sets the night before Halloween to advance to the second round, but the Olympians would prove a much tougher challenge. Sprague jumped to an early lead, taking the first set, but Canby won the next 2 to pull ahead to a 2-1 lead. Refusing to go down easily, Sprague took the fourth, setting the stage for a decisive 5th set. Playing in a gymnasium packed with the Sprague faithful, the Cougs held their poise and stunned the home crowd, jumping to a 5-1 lead. The final points came on an ace by Caitlin Gay. Chaos descended on the team and the Cougars fans who had made the trip. After the game, Caitlin said, "This is for all our seniors. We feel so connected now. We found that special something. It might be magic. I honestly don't know." The win gives Canby its first trip to the state tournament at Liberty High School since 2009, when they finished 5th. Congrats, ladies. Way to make us proud. Speaking of proud, Canby will send a total of 9 athletes to the state cross-country tournament after they qualified at the Three Rivers League finals this week. The top 7 individuals from each race qualify, along with the top 3 teams. Isabella Kasalik punched her ticket to the state first, finishing 3rd in women's varsity, followed 15 seconds later by Jennifer Torres, who claimed 4th. When all had finished, Canby's team score was high enough to edge St. Mary's Academy and finish 3rd overall. For men, Canby's top finisher was a bit of a surprise, as sophomore Tommy O'Neill came in 5th. His time was a full minute and 23-second improvement from his performance at the Three Rivers League preview meet at the start of the season, where he'd finished 34th. Senior Matthew Powell, who has paced the men's team at most meets this year, finished 7th to snag the final qualifying spot. The state meet will be held at Lane Community College in Eugene. Of the 9 athletes Canby will send, only Izzy Kasalik has been before. Congrats, guys! Finally, Canby football finished its first season under new head coach Jimmy Joyce on a high note, defeating visiting Roseburg in a dominant statement win. In a season where the Cougs, one of the youngest teams in the state, struggled to find consistency, Friday marked the first night where they were clearly the best team on both sides of the ball from start to finish. Final score, 42-15. Super soft Mikey Gibson was the man, leading a relentless attack that the Indians never found an answer for. He had 3 scores, 1 on a quarterback keeper, and 2 through the air to his favorite targets, junior Chance Miller and senior Ronan Gay. One of the highlights undoubtedly came when Nick Vandekuvering scooped up a botched spike and returned it all the way to the end zone, breaking about a dozen tackles along the way. Oregon's Elite later named it the top play of the week for all high school sports. With their previous victory over Oregon City, Canby ends the year on their first win streak since 2016. Though all 3 were on the bubble, those darn computer algorithms ruled out the playoffs for Cougar football, as well as the men's and women's soccer teams. Their seasons are over. Thank you all for working hard this year and making us proud, and congratulations and best wishes to our senior class.
So joining us on the line now is Canby Fire Chief Jim Davis. Hey, Chief.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being back on the show.
Not a problem.
So last night was Halloween. I saw you out there. It seemed like you're having a pretty good time.
Oh, that was wonderful. What a great event that Canby holds on Halloween, and the firefighters and myself really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was absolutely fantastic. I was out there with my little ones. That's where I saw you. And there was like 1,000 people down there. It was crazy. It was so packed. It was so much fun. Everybody was smiling and friendly, having a great time. Halloween is always, I remember it because it's the only night that I go willingly to my dentist's office because they give me candy. So,
Yep.
But yeah, great time. I did see you, especially near the end. You were grabbing some kids and sort of throwing them up there in the fire engine.
Yeah, that was fun. You know, we had a couple of the kids dressed up as firefighters, and even police officers that wanted to be firefighters instead of police officers.
Imagine that, huh?
So,
did you rub that in?
Imagine that. So, of course, I made sure that Lieutenant Tro saw what we were doing.
Yeah, of course. Well, I just thought that it was because, you're down a few firefighters here, and you were looking to recruit, so...
There we go. Yeah, we can use all the help we can get.
Was that a masterful segue, or?
Yeah, no, that was very good.
Yeah, well, we do joke a little bit, but it's actually a very serious matter that we're going to talk about. Yep. Canby Fire District, along with a number of other districts in Clackamas County and the state of Oregon, have sent a total of, I believe, Jim, over 300 firefighters from the state down to our neighbors to the south, California, to assist with many numerous fires that are happening down there.
That's correct. Yes, as part of the Oregon State Mobilization Act, which the governor has to sign off on, Clackamas County Fire Defense Board did send a strike team of wildland brush units down to California as part of the 15 that were deployed from the state of Oregon. And Canby itself sent one brush unit with 3 firefighters, and then, of course, one task force command leader assistant, which is Division Chief Matt English, who's assisting the task force leader for supervising the five apparatus that from Clackamas County that were sent down to California.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when these requests come, Chief, do they come with a certain, can you please send this many firefighters, or can you please send this type of apparatus, or is it really like what you are able to, provide?
It has, the request comes from the requesting agency. In this case, it was CAL FIRE. And they are very specific as to what type of apparatus they want based upon the type of need that they're experiencing at the time. And so they may request what we term as Class 1 engines, which are the big fire trucks that hold 4 or 5 firefighters on them. And those are meant more for structural protection, and so that they need more of the larger hose and their air packs that they can go in and protect the house, all the way to wildland brush units. And in this case, they requested a strike team of Class 3 heavy brush units. And so we send the 5 units along with 3 firefighters per unit. But that's based on what they had requested. And so if it were to occur in Oregon, they may request a strike team of engines. They may request a task force, which is made up of different apparatus, which may be like 2 large fire engines, and then 3 brush units. So it's pretty much dependent upon the host agency as far as what their needs are at the time.
I see. That makes sense. I imagine, Chief, that it must be a little hard. I mean, I know how much you and your other command staff really value, and obviously Division Chief English was one of the folks who went down this time, but, you really feel a responsibility for the firefighters that are under your command and, trying to keep them as safe as possible within their training and the job that you have to do and are called to do. But in this type of case, I mean, you're not sending them on vacation, right? You're sending them into a very potentially dangerous situation, and one where they're probably not going to be in a very comfortable places to sleep, if they even get to sleep. How do you kind of deal with that, and what does that feel like, having to, getting these requests and having to make those kind of decisions?
Well, I have no problems with it at all, because all the firefighters have to meet certain qualifications and training to be able to respond to these type of incidents. Whether it's in California or Oregon, the requirements are the same, and you cannot go unless you've had the required training. And so, number one, and part of that training is their awareness and safety. And then the task force leaders that are in charge of these crews are qualified even that much higher to ensure the safety of the firefighters. And the host agencies are very good about getting camps set up so that the firefighters do have a place to pitch their tents and to set up their camp and to get adequate rest. And in this case, down in California, they're working 24-hour shifts, so they'll be off for 24 hours, as ours were yesterday, and then they're off today, getting the needed rest to prepare for the next day out on the line.
Oh, that's good to hear.
But I feel very comfortable, as if, and the exchange of that would be as if we had a large wildland fire or major disaster in Clackamas County or in the state of Oregon. We could rely on California and Washington crews to come in to assist us as well, and we would be responsible to ensure adequate facilities for them to come in and to camp. So I feel very comfortable, and I'm very proud of the Canby firefighters in the fact that we are asked right at the top of the list because of the firefighters' can-do attitude and working hard when they have been deployed. And so agencies love to see Canby units show up for these type of incidents.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. And I was going to mention that as well, just from the firefighters that I've met and do know in town, that I would imagine that there is not necessarily too hard to find volunteers for this type of thing because they have that willingness to serve. It's why they do what they do, and they're more than willing to put up with whatever circumstance or, even potential danger because that's what they signed up for, and they did it because they want to help people, and this gives them a real opportunity to do that, obviously.
Absolutely. And going down on these deployments, in wildland interface situations is very good because they get that experience and they bring that experience back to Canby, not only to train other people for their qualifications, but in the event that we had a major wildland fire in this area.
Cool. Well, let's talk just a few details if we can. There's a number of different fires that are going on. I believe our guys at this point are assigned to Kincaid, which I think is the largest one.
That's correct. When they were first deployed, they were immediately deployed down to the Burris fire, which was about 80 miles from the Kincaid fire, and that one was brought under control fairly quickly. So then they were redeployed to the Kincaid fire and assigned on the fire line yesterday for 24 hours. And today they are off, and they'll be on again tomorrow to the Kincaid fire.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just an incredibly large, devastating fire. The last number I saw was 180,000 people have had to either be evacuated or who have actually lost their homes from this horrible fire. So I know that's kind of hard on the firefighters as well. I don't know if this is specifically what our guys are doing, but I remember talking to the team that was deployed to the Camp Fire last summer, and one of their jobs was going through some of the homes that had been burned and trying to find things that could be salvaged for those families and things like that. And that's just really hard, to kind of go through what was once somebody's home and is now, rubble. You just that kind of is, you feel that in your soul and in your heart.
Oh, absolutely. And the rewarding part is being able to see that you're making a difference in the houses that you actually, and the buildings that you actually do save, and the lives you do save by cutting that fire off from getting to those other structures.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Chief, for your time, for telling us about our guys who are down there and what they're doing. Definitely remind listeners to keep them and all the firefighters from Oregon and really all the folks who've been affected by these fires in your thoughts and prayers. Anything to add, Chief, before you go?
Just an important factor on all this is the support that these firefighters get from their spouses, girlfriends or boyfriends that are left behind because they're picking up the pieces at home and missing their their loved ones while they're out fighting fire. But we couldn't do this without the support of those spouses and people that are left behind while they're out for, potentially 14 to 21 days. So I just wanted to make sure people understand that we can't do our job without the support of our spouses.
Absolutely. And that is such a tremendous service and sacrifice as well that they perform to allow, to give up that and allow the firefighters to do that. So thank you for remembering that and pointing that out.
Yep. Very good. Well, hey, thank you very much. And you have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. You too, Chief.
This Saturday, the day after we recorded this segment with Chief Davis, the Office of the State Fire Marshal announced they would begin demobilizing the units assigned to assist in the California wildfires, which are now more than 70% contained. The Canby crew was packing up and preparing to arrive home by today, Monday, when a new fire broke out near Redding, California. Canby's firefighters were assigned to assist. Stay safe, guys, and thank you for all of your service.
Hey, Tyler, did you know that the world has changed in the past 20 years?
No way!
Yep, it's true. The way people shop for goods and services has completely changed since this thing called the internet started catching on.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And yet some realtors still offer the same old services in the same old ways and for the same old percentages. Victory Point Property Group in Canby believes it's time the real estate business caught up with the times. They'll meet with you for free, explain every step of the process, give you a clear game plan, and even let you choose the listing commission.
Really? They let you choose their commission?
Really, Victory Point Property Group understands this is one of the biggest and most exciting decisions of your life, and they'll do everything they can to make sure you handle it like a rock star.
Wow, that sounds great. I'm going to check them out by calling 503-263-4700 or by visiting online at victorypointhomes.com.
You do that. Victory Point Property Group, real estate reimagined.
True story. When we first started the Canby Now podcast, we were looking to buy some stickers. Just something to help us get our name out there. We didn't have a lot of money, so we tried to do everything as cheaply as possible online. We wound up with 1,000 of these teeny tiny cheap looking stickers. Not exactly the impressive swag we were hoping for, but you get what you pay for.
Yes, you do. If we had been smart, we would have gone to see Carrie at Promotional Strategies. She's a real live human and a creative genius who will deliver practical, strategic ways to promote your business on any budget. If you're looking for high quality swag that you can be proud to see your logo on, Promotional Strategies is where you want to go. Find them at 695 Southeast 1st Avenue in Canby or online at ps266swag.com. All right, on the Canby Conversation today, we get to do one of our favorite things. We're here at the Richard R. Brown Fine Arts Center talking to, I think the entire cast of the upcoming production of Almost Maine. You guys want to just take turns? We have some crew here as well, I should say. Take turns just kind of introducing yourself and what you do in the show.
Okay. Hi, I'm Meridian, and I am playing Shelley in the upcoming production of Almost Maine.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I am doing publicity work for Almost Maine.
Yeah, she's the reason we're here.
Oh, yeah. My name is Cadence, and I am playing Marcy and Rhonda in the upcoming production.
Hi, I'm Tanner, and I'm playing East in the upcoming production of Almost Maine.
My name is Cousteau, and I'm the stage manager in training.
Oh, okay. In training. We've got a little bit of training going on here. Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the show for folks that haven't seen it, if that's possible. And as you mentioned, a few of you are kind of playing different characters because that's what this production is. It's like different vignettes. Whoever wants to jump in.
There's different parts, and basically the whole theme of the show is about love and the loss of love and different aspects. So certain people maybe are falling in love for the first time. Some of them are falling out of love. And it's kind of a really cool approach to kind of digging deeper into that theme.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the characters you play and kind of what those stories are about.
Okay. I play two kind of contrasting parts. So one of them, she is talking with her husband, and they're going on their anniversary date, but he doesn't know that. And so basically they're talking in
It's so unrelatable. So no.
all right, and the conflict is kind of rising up, and so that's
Totally unrelatable.
right. And basically you just see at the end of that scene, it's kind of a sadder scene. I won't give too much of it away. And the other one is about this girl and her friend, and they're pals, and he confesses his feelings for her, and she's kind of freaked out, but in the end they fall in love. So those are my two scenes.
What about you, Tanner?
My scene's about this guy who finds this girl pretty much sitting in his yard, which is really weird, but he falls in love with her, but at first she's like, oh, I don't want to be with you, and then she finally just gives in after she tells basically her whole life story.
That's, again, totally relatable. So.
And mine is a little similar to Cadence's. Basically, there's this girl who falls in love with her best friend, and at first she kind of doesn't know how to react to it, and it kind of leaves at an how would you say it? Like an unresolved conflict at the end. We kind of don't really get to see how it works out, but it's pretty cool. It is a happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're going to come back to the story, but I want to give Hannah a chance to tell what the publicity person does. And is that a normal part of what you guys do here at Canby Theatre, or is that something kind of new you're doing?
So this is actually my first show that I participated in with Canby High School. So I was not expecting to get to do the amount of work that I've got to do. They kind of just threw it on me and was like, you should do that. And I did. And basically what I've been doing...
That's how things work around here, am I right, guys? Yeah.
Well, I was just kind of thrown into email a bunch of these people. So I was able to reach out to this podcast and able to schedule this. That was a big part of what I've been doing. And I've just been...
Yeah, you nailed it with the email. I do like 1,000% of everything through email, so.
Yay! Good job. Wow, okay. I had my mom proofread all of those emails. So I was like, Mom, I don't know how to do this.
So sweet.
But yeah, I just kept everyone in the loop based on how we're getting our name out there and how I was also part of, well, it's a long story, but the poster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a ride.
And we're also formatting the program.
Cool. Awesome. Cousteau,
Yes.
in terms of the production, Almost Maine is a little more sparse, isn't it? In terms of the set and things, it's a lot more kind of miming and stuff like that, or?
Well, this year we actually decided to do a little bit more of a set. Last year we did Our Town, which was pretty simplistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we just decided to go crazy on it. So our set designer is Sarah Link, and this is her first time doing it, but she is definitely experienced in theater overall. And she decided to make it so that it was a huge set. We're going to have snowy hills and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
It's super fun. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting set, and it's been really fun to work on. I actually just got back from it. I have paint all over my hands.
Oh, yeah, you look like you just came in from the snowy Maine woods.
Yep. Almost Maine.
Almost, yeah. Cool. Well, in terms of the story, you guys kind of touched on a lot of these stories have kind of a little bit of sad elements, a little bit of bittersweet. For me, as now an old person, like looking back, like that kind of does reflect that time period and kind of young love that you guys are kind of in right now. Does it feel accurate to you, some of these stories, and in what ways?
Well, for me, I feel like a lot of the characters are played by they're adults. So
yeah, exactly, but played by young people.
Played by young people, exactly. So it's interesting to find, like, out of my own experiences, ways to relate to the character. But I think I think I've been able to do it so far. I'm still working on it, but yeah, I don't know. What about you, Marty?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of elements that I feel like high schoolers can kind of relate to. Just in terms of high school relationships, there's always ups and downs. And specifically, like my scene, I feel like I've been there before, but it's really cool to watch my peers kind of figure that out for themselves, and also in this kind of way they're living through new experiences that they maybe haven't experienced before.
Mm-hmm. You guys stole everything I was gonna say. But so in my scene, like
Tanner's like, every time I find a girl in my yard, like it's just like this.
It's just a normal day.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's really not. I forgot how to say this. he's like really quick to fall in love, and I feel like that's like kind of how I am, which sounds really bad, but like like he just wants to find love and just wants to be like cared for, and that's just like kind of how high school is. Like you're trying to find out who you are, and like
sometimes trying to force it a little bit, right?
Yeah, and so I feel like that's how my scene like relates to me. And he's also like, he lives out in the middle of nowhere, basically. Like he lives on a farm, and like I feel like if I had that opportunity, I would too, because like I'm not really a people person. Like outside of the like kids in theater, I don't really talk to people.
Yeah, I actually don't talk to anybody but kids in theater either. So
Good, keep it that way.
I feel like it's kind of a unique thing that we have here, especially we did Our Town last year and we're doing Almost Maine this year. It's a small town, hardworking people kind of perspective. Yeah. It feels like, I mean, the community that we have here in Canby is almost reflected in some of the stuff that these characters are going through. It's just normal small town life. It's actually, it's interesting because there is one scene where one of the girls, or one of the characters comes back from, living in a big town, big city life, and she talks about how she got annoyed when she was living in a small town that people assumed that everybody in a small town knew each other, which is kind of ironic because going around Canby, I know a lot of people, and we happen to know, like, it's kind of a small world because we actually, like, have a really nice community, and we do know each other a lot, and that's something that I like here, and especially in the theater program, is that we are all pretty close and we all know each other and try to make sure that everyone feels involved, from freshmen to seniors.
Yeah, it is obvious that kind of camaraderie and friendship that you guys have. I mean, like, we had to move from our original location because, like, random songs were bursting out, which I'm pretty sure Almost Maine is not a musical, so it was not a rehearsal thing. That was just random music. Yeah. What is, and the non-cast people can jump in on this as well, what's your favorite part or something that you're most excited about to bring to the community from this show?
I think one of my favorite parts about this show is that it's all connected, but each individual character has their own moment on stage, which I think is beautiful because a lot of shows, they have like 7 leads, maybe like 5 supporting characters, and it doesn't like give people from all grade levels like a real chance in the audition room, because when you go to audition, I would love to say that like people don't, that I think it's more of a problem with like professional theater, but I think this show just gave everyone a chance to have their moment on stage.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Definitely, because it's such a it's a big cast size, whereas some of the shows that we were thinking that were a possibility could have been 7-10 people involved, whereas Almost Maine technically usually it has 4 people playing all the roles, but since we have a big amount of people that want to be involved with theater, so we decided 19 roles and like 7 scenes. So it's really nice to be able to get everybody involved with it and see, everyone's contribution to the play itself.
Cool.
I'm excited to see someone else's rendition of a scene that me and Cadence had done for Senior 1 Acts.
Yeah. We recently done one of the scenes from this, and then we chose to do the play this year, and so we're not playing the same parts, obviously, because that wouldn't be fun. But yeah, we get to see someone else play the parts that we did, so to see how they take a turn personally and just how they portray the parts.
In my scene, so my character is falling in love with somebody, but I'm also physically falling. So the moment that I realize that I'm falling in love, I'm like hitting the ground. And that's, it's really exciting for me because I like that kind of physical acting element to it, but it's also terrifying because I hurt my knees every time.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, knee pads.
Falling in front of hundreds of people is a little scary. So.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a cool experience.
Well, are you guys ready to have your minds blown?
Oh.
Yeah. So, I am from Maine.
No way.
No.
Wait, it gets so much better. I am from a town in Maine called Presque Isle. I went to Presque Isle High School, which is where John Cariani, do you know this?
Yeah.
John Cariani, who wrote Almost Maine, was from Presque Isle High School.
No way.
Yeah, we went to the same school. So
Wow.
like 22 years apart, but I never have met him. So, but
Small
anyway,
world, though.
very
Small
small.
town.
Insane.
Yeah, he was like our most famous. So I did theater in Presque Isle at Presque Isle High School. So like John Cariani was like, oh.
Did they do Almost Maine?
Not when I was there.
Oh,
No.
dang.
Yeah.
Is there actually a town called Easton in Maine? Because in my scene, like, that's where, like, what my name is, because they screwed up on the birth certificate.
Yes, there is.
Yes! Sorry, that just made my day.
Yeah, actually, Easton is near Presque Isle.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's in the same county, but I remember we played them in basketball, so.
That's really
That's
cool.
interesting.
Any other Maine questions?
I just want to add, Meridian, please don't get another concussion.
What?
Yeah, of course. No, I have a concussion, but so the falling thing is a good time. But anyways, I have a Freudian fell.
Yeah.
So our play is really centered around like, it's supposed to be wintertime. It's supposed to be super snowy. And I've never been to the East Coast during the winter. So is it like, how much is it compared to Oregon? Like, I know in Oregon, we have a lot of people who kind of don't know how to drive in the snow, and it gets really chaotic. So how is it compared to Maine?
Yeah, all of that is true. It is, there is a lot more snow. It's weird. It's on the same parallel. It's on the 45th
Right.
parallel. It's not that much farther north, although Presque Isle, very northern. We were like 20 minutes from Canada, so I think that probably informed some of John Cariani's imagery for the play. But it was not unusual to get like 40 inches of snow in a winter.
Wow, that's
And so we had a mall in Presque Isle with like a huge parking lot, and so they would just pile it up like in one big section of the. So it'd be like 60 feet high by the end of the winter. Like, well, it would get like all dirty and icy and stuff. Yeah, it's not super fun, and then there's cars because it's a parking lot, so it's not.
Oh, sorry. I also have a question. So I've been reading through the playwright's notes, and they say that Almost Maine doesn't actually exist, but it's in Aroostook County. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, that's Aroostook County.
Aroostook
that is where Presque Isle was the. No, Caribou was the county. Caribou was the county seat, but Presque Isle was the largest city.
Okay.
So that's where we grew up.
That's awesome. And also we see the Northern Lights in the show, and that's a central aspect of the show, is that in every scene they're all at the same time, except the one thing that ties them all together is that the Northern Lights appear, and that's sort of when something strange or that has to do with love or falling out of love happens. So did you see?
Yeah, I think John just pulled that out of his butt, so I never saw the Northern Lights there.
Oh, dang.
That's too bad.
Sorry, John.
That's what makes it more magical, you know?
Yeah, I never saw them, so maybe.
I think that like the theater group should just take a road trip to Maine now.
Yeah, you guys could stay at my old house. I mean, I don't know who's living there now. But.
just breaks in, just like, I'm here now.
Oh, no, I'm friends with somebody who lived here 15 years ago, so.
It's totally fine.
It's fine.
He said it was totally cool. He was 16 at the time, but.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, there has been a lot of talk about the theater program lately, and the fact that you guys don't have a full-time teacher.
Yes.
I just wanted to just give you a chance to talk about all the stuff that you kids do. So.
Awesome.
Because I don't think people realize. I think people think that there's some adult in charge here, and it's not. It's total chaos. So.
Oh well, I wouldn't say chaos, but
Anarchy.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's the word. So recently, we attended a meeting this last Monday about the Student Success Act, and we're trying to find out more about how feasible it would be to hire a full-time teacher for next year and have full-time classes. Which is something that we think is very important because right now the the theater program is student-run entirely, and we don't have an advisor. So that's kind of hard with like clubs. Like when our club meets, we don't have an adult to come to talk about, have that connection between the school and like the admin. So we've just been fighting for that a lot.
The other issue is that we've had part-time teachers in the past, and but that's not the amount of money that they're getting paid isn't nearly enough to cover the extra hours that they put into this production, to the productions that we do, and to the program. So we're really trying to fight to.
It's not a coincidence. There's been quite a bit of turnover in that position.
Yeah, exactly. We've had, I think last year we had 3 directors. Yeah, 3 directors, and we have our neighborhood, or like our sister theater programs around the state. Like they're. Some of them are super fortunate to have really wonderful teachers with them, and it's just a shame that we don't get to share some kind of long-lasting experience like that.
Well, I just want to say, I think that, number one, I think that you guys deserve it just because you work so incredibly hard. I've seen several of your productions. I've talked to a lot of you. And you guys work as hard at your craft as the athletes and stuff, not to take anything away from them, but it's just, you guys do deserve it, I feel. But also, I think, and maybe I'll ask you, but there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of this program. There, even just giving you guys positive things to do after school, but building confidence and things like that.
Oh yeah. I am, as I said, I'm training to be a stage manager, and I am one of many students who do choose to spend 20 plus hours a week at the FAC.
Tanner's raising his hand.
Don't all of us?
Yeah.
I appreciate
definitely.
you. Like, you're a great stage manager, and
No. I'm saying that one of many. So I think that,
Let's not like get in a fight here, guys. We're talking about how friendly we are.
Exactly. So just to say that is, I've seen how dedicated my peers are. I've seen the dedication in everyone in this production and outside of it. People that didn't get cast who have worked, just as hard in this theater program. And I think that, we have the dedication, we have the drive, and we have the student leadership to make this successful, but we need that final piece of the puzzle to make things click.
Well, yeah, and no matter how good the student leadership is, they're going to go on to other things.
Exactly.
You would hope.
Exactly.
You need that kind of institutional memory, ideally. So.
Yeah. And I also feel like it gives the kids confidence. Like, I know me, I'm like I said, I'm not really a people person, but last year all I did was tech, and because I wanted to get to know everyone, I'm like, I don't know these people, but they became easily just my, honestly, family to me. And yeah,
I think what is really beautiful about this being, it sucks that we have to run it through the student body, but I think what's beautiful about it is it brings us closer together as a troupe and as a group of people. But I think it's really important that we do have classes and do have these things, because a lot of, I know Cousteau, and I, we both want to go into theater more than we're doing it, more than just in high school.
Sorry, continue.
No, it's okay. I think that we should be provided the resources to have a good resume to get into an art school. Good classes to put on our resume. My mom has spent so much on acting classes for me, and I feel so bad because I just want her to not have to do that. I want it to be provided because we have this beautiful facility and we don't use it enough.
Absolutely. I also kind of want to give some love to our theater moms, because we have a program that's called Theater Boosters, and they have been the rock that we've been holding on to for these past 2 years. They're truly amazing. They're doing all of this to volunteer. They're helping us. They're giving us resources where we would need a full-time teacher to have. They're the ones who are providing it for us right now. And they're just keeping us afloat. So that's also one of the core sides of our program, is we're being held together by our students and our parents. And as fantastic and as wonderful as that is, we don't have a spearhead. We don't have a person who's our director, Mr. Stroshine, is so phenomenal, and we want him as our full-time teacher.
He's a keeper.
But anyways, that's just it's, we have a lot of people in this community, Canby, our theater. We have brought so many people together, and that's the wonder of this art.
Cool. Well, Almost Maine opens November 8th. What are the details here?
Cousteau's got it.
Yes, it opens November 8th. And we have 2 weekends. It's going to be November 8th and 9th. And on the 9th, there's a matinee and an evening show. And also the 15th and the 16th, where the 15th is an evening show, and then the 16th has matinee and closing night.
Cool. Tickets just at the door? Is there any other place folks can get them?
Thriftway, usually?
Yeah,
usually we sell them
usually,
at
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, possibly at
But yes,
Thriftway,
at the
but
door.
definitely
But
at the door.
definitely at the door.
Cool. Definitely come out and support this awesome show and these kids who are working so hard. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
I am not a golfer. I mean, I'm not a good golfer. So when I want to play a few rounds, I head over to Frontier Golf Course. They're family-owned, family-friendly 9-hole course with beautiful scenery. And they let me rent clubs or bring my own. And they don't judge me for my slices and hacks. Or, my language.
Frontier Golf Course is a great place to meet your buddies and have a drink or bring your kids along. They're located on Holly Street just north of town. If you hit the ferry, you've gone too far.
Also, please don't hit the ferry.
Yeah, please don't. But do ask them about Farley the Goat. They love that. Frontier prides itself on being the best value course you'll find in the area. If you haven't been by in a while, you've got to come check out what the new owners have done. Frontier Golf Course. It's a new frontier. Don't you hate it when you're just getting caught up on your favorite show and then your video streaming service drops it without warning? Wouldn't it be cool if you could record unlimited programs at once and watch them whenever and wherever you want? Meet Easy Video from DirectLink, the only app-based TV service in Canby that includes most of the major live local broadcast channels, sports, and national networks. Easy Video is, easy. It's compatible with your Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, smartphone, and laptop, so you have more options for how and where you watch TV. And the best part of all, Easy Video members save an average of $360 a year over traditional cable. Say goodbye to HD fees, DVR fees, equipment rentals, and costly installation. Go to directlink.coop/EasyV or visit them at the corner of Southeast 2nd and Juniper Street in Canby to learn more about the future of TV. All right, well, I'm here at Canby Builders Supply, where they are celebrating 70 years in business this year. I'm here with one of the owners, Jim Rodway. Hi, Jim.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Canby Builders. You've been in business, I guess, for 70 years or so.
Yeah, that's a long time. It's older than any of our employees, I'll guarantee you that. We got a young, vivacious crew here, energized and professional, and they've got a long ways to go before they're 70 years old. That's a long ways for any business to succeed in this day and age.
It's unbelievable, and it's been in the same family. Started with the Morse family, Clayton Morse, I believe.
That's correct. Yep.
Out on the coast.
That's right. He had a number of lumber yards on the coast, and then his son Dick, my wife's father, and his bride Carol Lee. And Clayton bought this yard in the 50s, and they ran it for decades. And then after his passing, it was in a trust for a while, and then Holly and I decided to buy out her brothers, who were also in the trust. And we've been running it now for almost a little over 5 years. Pretty exciting.
Yeah. So tell just a little bit about kind of what you guys value here, a little bit about what Canby Builders is all about. It's got to be not the easiest thing nowadays to be an independent, locally owned lumber yard and hardware store.
That's right. You're right. It's very challenging. The internet has changed a lot of things. People like Amazon.
I'd never heard of that. The internet.
No, it's a strange thing. It's coming to Canby soon.
I think it's just a fad, honestly, Jim.
Yeah, honestly, it's a fad. But anybody could sell a 2x4. It's a commodity, and the things that we do are basically, we offer service and expertise that you can't get on at the big box stores or on the internet or whatever it is you want to buy. We're here to help you solve your problem. People don't come here on a whimsical buy, just kind of shopping at the mall. They come here because they've got a problem to solve, be it plumbing, electrical, hardware, cabinets, lumber, building a home, building a pole barn. And we're here to help them solve that problem and get them down the road in a friendly, family based environment. It's really cool.
For people that know kind of the Apple experience, like you guys have your own Genius Bar here. Like it's very,
exactly.
Here, and it is great. Like I have had so many questions answered, so many like things because my dad's not out here. You know, I don't necessarily have an old guy that I can go to, and I'm a millennial, so I don't know how to do anything but throw stuff away and buy a new one. So.
All right.
But yes, so I mean, it is great to have the people here that's like, no, don't buy that thing, buy this thing, and do it this way. So
yeah, we've got a lot of people on our staff who've actually been general contractors or finished carpenters or electricians that they just can solve your problem quickly and professionally, and
they don't
have to come back 4 or 5 times to solve the same problem over and over.
They don't make fun of me too bad about how.
No, I won't. I'm just going to work with you on this.
So you guys have been celebrating. We're now doing this interview on Friday, but you've been celebrating all week, and it's continuing this weekend.
That's right.
With like kind of a different theme and things each day. Your wife Holly was telling me about it. Here on Friday, I guess the theme is like wheelbarrow full of alcohol, which I'm a big fan of. So I do enjoy that.
We don't want to promote too much of that, but we do enjoy our craft beers.
Yes.
And some good cheese and some fine wine and salami.
Oh, I didn't notice the food. I just thought.
Yeah,
just kidding.
So anyway, we're having a good time and just want our old customers, our old employees, our current employees, our current customers to all come in and this one's on us. We'd like to thank them for all that they've done to help this business survive and prosper in a small town. Like you say, it's tough to do in this day and age, and they've been very supportive of us, and we just want to reach out and say thank you. It's good to have them back and have a cold one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is there one thing or maybe a couple of things that you can kind of think and sort of point at that have attributed to your guys' success and longevity through the years?
I think it's pretty simple. This is a service business, and everybody says, oh, our service is better than everybody else's, but in fact, there's not a lot of businesses that survive either with corporate type ownership or with generational type to the next generation type deal, unless you have that service.
Yeah. It's
really what carries a business, and so we're really proud of what our people offer and in that form of service, and it's day in and day out, 6 days a week. That's what separates us. It's very difficult for a one location lumber yard in a small town to prosper in this day and age. But we're very fortunate. Canby has been very supportive of us, and we just want to pay it back. We give a lot back to the town and to various community charities that are important to this town, and we wish we could do more for more of the charities, and we kind of change that every year, but we want to have everybody benefit by our success as well.
Yeah. And Holly was mentioning that each day there have been raffles and things, even as part of this celebration, that have been benefiting different local nonprofits, the Canby Center, Bridging Cultures, and a number of others. So,
no, it's been great to have them partner with us, and we're pleased to match all of their donations that have been made to this point, and excited about the progress we've made this week. We've raised a lot of money, and we're excited to give it all back.
Cool. Is there any sort of message or thing that you would say to folks listening to this, and maybe by the time they're listening to this, a celebration will be past?
Yeah.
Just anything that you'd like to say and put out there.
We'll come back for the 75th. We'll have the same thing all over again with ice cold beer and some cheese and meat platter but no, I just want to say I'm sorry you couldn't come if you didn't make it. But we do appreciate your patronage, and many of our employees are Canby residents, and we appreciate all they do for us and that they give back to the community in their individual ways as well. So it's a real honor to be a business owner in this community.
Yeah. My last question, and I don't necessarily expect an answer, this isn't very clear to me, but do you guys here at Canby Builders have a favorite color at all, or?
Well, you wouldn't know if you walked in unless you spent a few minutes.
It's really not clear at all.
I know, but if you had to if you're colorblind like I am, I would guess that it's probably cobalt blue.
Where does that come from? Everything is blue here at this party. You've got blue popcorn, blue Hershey's Kisses, obviously your shirts, your normal uniform is blue. I feel awkward shirt because I'm wearing our Blue Canby Now shirt. I kind of feel like
you feel like look like an employee.
I didn't read the memo, about this party. But anyway, so does that come from anything, or is it just color you guys like? And
it was part of the original design when Holly's mother and father started the business back in the 50s. They had kind of a yellow and cobalt blue are their theme colors, and they positioned all of their graphics and advertising and interior design, everything around that, and it stayed with the company. It stuck, and it's been a great color.
Great color scheme, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. We blend in a pink parade every once in a while when we have ladies' night or some charity event for a ladies group here, but we can put a little pink in here, but it's cobalt blue. That's our live and die color.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jim. Congratulations on 70
Thank
years.
you.
Really is a testament to you and all the team here and their dedication. That doesn't happen just by accident, like you said. It does require that service, and the community sees that. So
great. Well, we're glad to be a part of it, so appreciate your time.
So I'm here with Derek Hill, president of Advantage Mortgage in Canby. I was wondering what's going on in the mortgage industry right now.
The mortgage industry is on fire right now. The big thing that's really exciting for us is that we are now an independent mortgage broker, which means that we can offer substantially lower rates and lower fees for our customers. For example, we just got a loan last week, and the realtor said, "Hey, I think you should go talk to Derek at Advantage Mortgage." And sure enough, we got the borrower 3/4 better rate, and we saved him $14,000 in fees.
Cool. So where can people find you?
So office number is 503-266-5800, or they can find us on the web at findtheadvantage.com. But most people just give us a holler or they stop in.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Derek.
You bet. Advantage Mortgage, NMLS number 1770599. Derek Hill's NMLS number 50183. Equal housing opportunity.
The Canby Now podcast is a production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
Canby Now podcast is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
Huge thank you as well to our supporters on Patreon. We rely on your monthly contributions to continue to do this work that we seriously love. For information on how you can become one of the coolest people in the world, a patron of the Canby Now podcast, visit cambynowpod.com/plus.